It's Matthew, your friendly neighborhood technician, making another video for you out of Boise, Idaho, and I'm taking a moment, just taking a little bit of a break on my Yukon here, and I'm diagnosing a 2001 Ford F350 Super Duty with the infamous Triton V8. So the 5.4 liter Triton V8. So I got a phone call this morning. The owner said that it was being driven. It started making a terrible grinding noise from the engine, and then the coolant temperature gauge shot right up and it started to overheat. So it was brought here, and so I am now diagnosing it. I pretty much already have an idea of what's going on, but I kind of want to show you what we're going to do. So first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the truck, and I'm going to try to simulate or try to get it to make the grinding noise again and act up, overheat, all that other good stuff. So let's go ahead and do that first. All right, so I got this truck started up, and as you can see, it's actually already a little warm. And one of the first things I notice is that even though the truck is starting to warm up a little bit, I notice that there is no heat. I've got the heater turned on to high to full blast, and it is not blowing hot at all. So that's an indicator and evidence that there is no more coolant in the system. Heaters work off of the heater core. The heater core heats up from the heat from the coolant circulating through it. If there's not enough coolant to circulate through the system, then you're not going to have a heater. So let's go check out the engine next. Okay, so engine sounds pretty decent, but one of the first things I notice underneath this hood is look at all this coloration. You see all this? Like right here, even here, and then look at these marks here. You see those splatter marks that are there? If you look down there, you can see splatter marks on the lower radiator hose. And then look here, you see all this? This is coolant. So somewhere, somehow, coolant blew out of this system and blew all over the place. So let's go ahead and let this engine heat up and see what happens. Okay, so now that it's warmed up, I'm going to show you what the problem is. You can see it right there. Okay, but that's not the only problem. See the crack right there? Alright, so here's the deal. It is not common for both the radiator and the coolant reservoir to blow at the same time like that. And you can obviously tell it's blown outwards. There's a lot of pressure in this reservoir right now, and there's a lot of pressure coming out of that crack. I'm going to go ahead and shut it down now because I don't want to cause any further damage, but I'm going to tell you what I highly suspect the issue is. Okay, so to have both the radiator and the coolant reservoir blow basically at the same time like that, this is a good indicator that there's a cracked head, okay, or a blown head gasket. You won't really know until you get in there, basically. All right, so how is that possible? There's a 99.9% chance, and I don't say 100% because we haven't broken the engine down yet to really get in there or done a hydrocarbon test to test it. But just with this evidence right here, there's a high probability and a high chance that either A, the cylinder head, one of the cylinder heads is cracked, or B, the head gasket is blown. Okay, and so more than likely, it's blown where an exhaust and a coolant port are mixing, okay? So what's happening is you're getting exhaust into the cooling system, and that's where the pressure is coming from. It's pumping exhaust gases into the cooling system, and so that eventually builds up enough pressure inside of the cooling system, and what happens after that is the radiator cracks and blows, the coolant reservoir cracks and blows. So the only way to prove that there's a blown head gasket or a cracked cylinder head right now is to either A, go ahead and break the engine down and see what you find, or B, spend the time and money to replace the radiator and the reservoir fill it back up with coolant, and then what you do is you run a hydrocarbon test. Okay, and what a hydrocarbon test does is it detects exhaust gases in the system, and that'll tell you that you've got a cracked head or a blown head gasket where exhaust gases from the combustion chamber are mixing into the coolant. So, and again, that's how exhaust gases get in there. It's coming from the combustion chamber. So if it's a cracked head, a lot of times you'll see the crack in between the valves. If it's a blown head gasket, then the head gasket blew on the towards the inner side of the combustion chamber, and it's allowing exhaust gases from the combustion chamber to leak into a coolant port, and that is what is building up the pressure there. So I was hoping when he called me, when he said he heard a grinding noise, I was kind of hoping that it was the water pump bearings going out. On a lot of Fords, when the water pump goes out, you can hear it making all kinds of noise and stuff, but this is a pretty big deal. So it's time to hit the drawing board and decide what we want to do with it, if it's even going to be worth fixing, because as you know, these 5.4 liter Tritons, they're a beast, they're a bear to fix, they're a bear to replace, you name it. So, alrighty folks, well, there you go. This is the end of the diagnosis on a 2001 F350 Super Duty with a 5.4 liter Triton V8. Once again, the complaint was it made a grinding noise, and then all of a sudden the coolant temperature shot up, and after that we determined that we found good evidence that there's possibly a cracked head or a blown head gasket. All right, guys. Well, hey, thanks everybody for watching my videos. Thanks for supporting me. I really enjoy hanging out and talking with you guys in the comments on the internet and all that other stuff. I also enjoy your suggestions and tips and tricks as well. And if you need any help on your job, go ahead and email me, highgrooveauto30@gmail.com. That's HIGHGROOVE, the number 30@gmail.com. And if you're getting into a project you need some help on or have some questions, just shoot them to me in my email. I don't answer emails on a daily basis. Most of the time I get to them on the weekend, so if I don't get to you for a few days, don't hold it against me. Okay, folks, don't forget to like, subscribe. Thanks for the support. This is Matthew, your friendly neighborhood technician, signing off.